Hello.
How are you? Great to
Good
see you.
to see you. Thanks for coming up.
All right, so ready to talk some New Rochelle today?
I love it.
So Mayor, New Rochelle has a 90-day approval process for certain housing projects, which is almost unheard of in New York City. How did you design that system?
So that's a great question. It's my favorite question. So back in 2014, the city council worked with our professional staff and RXR, who's designated the master developer, to really think about what are some of the consistent kind of checkpoints that buildings need in order to really break ground and build, essentially.
Right.
And so we created what's called a form-based zone coding. And at that time, the council, working with the staff and engaging with residents, identified key sites throughout the city where we could build, made decisions as to how high to build, made decisions on community benefit bonuses that developers could sort of take advantage of. And then working with RXR, did some of the front loading on environmental reviews, generic impact studies, and really just kind of carved out created the scaffolding, in other words, that allows projects to be approved in 90 days.
So if I'm understanding, basically almost prefabricating, if you will, these sites. That way, once a developer or builder wants to come in, they already know what can happen here.
There's a lot of assurances in the model, exactly, by
cool.
preempting a lot of the environmental studies and the impact reviews.
So you've managed to add thousands of housing units while keeping rent growth almost flat. What specific policies or incentives helped make that possible?
So I think one of the secrets, if you will, or the tools that allow rent to stay relatively flat is a matter of simply having a supply. You know, we are adjacent to New York City as a community and adjacent to some other affluent parts of Westchester County, 35-minute commute into Manhattan. There's a lot of demand that meets the supply from residents that come from the boroughs, other parts of Westchester. And so as I hear it speaking to the developers and even just new residents, they're shopping around, they're looking at the different buildings, getting a sense of what the rents are, what are the amenities. The developers know that. So they have to be competitive with each other. They know that if they price themselves too high, someone can just move into one of the other buildings that are open at a lower rate with very similar amenities. So it's really a matter of just the supply and the demand that helps to keep rents flat. And that's been documented through Pew Trust studies, New York Times reports. This is sort of a tried and true theory.
Love it. No notes. In New York City, a lot of housing proposals face strong community opposition. How did you engage residents to get some buy-in for some of these new housing developments?
I love this question. And back in 2014, when we started the form-based zone code approach, I was actually a resident. I wasn't even on the city council.
Okay.
So I'm observing this as a mom who's working in the city, 2 young kids, and recognizing that I wanted something more for our downtown and was excited that the city was engaging in this process. So as a resident, I remember a lot of community meetings, online workshops, visualizations, being asked, what would you like to see in the downtown? There's a lot of engagement from the very beginning. Now, we're about 9 or 10 years into this process, we continue to engage with residents, show them through visuals, through graphics, through newsletters, through communications. There are assets in our downtown that did not exist before 2014, but for the development that's here. And we're able to invest in our people because of the resources from development. So reminding residents that, for example, we just wrapped up our summer youth program, 500 young people making $16 an hour through summer jobs, investing in our senior services, investing in our environmental sustainability, flood mitigation. All of that money comes from development. So our job is to continue to remind residents about the continued benefits that come through all of these buildings.
I was just telling the team, I love all the artwork. You look in any direction, there's beautiful murals all over the city.
Funded through our community benefit bonus program, but the tax revenue allows us to then identify a plan for flood mitigation. It allows us to know our youth need to have access to employment and a sort of village approach to help make them adults. So we invest 500 kids, $16 an hour. I mean, at various businesses, municipal offices. We had lunches with them this week, hearing what they learned and that they're kind of developing how to answer the phone, how to talk to their boss.
The city is paying for these youth to work within private development, private offices. That's kind of SYP program.
We're paying for small businesses. Small businesses get free labor for 6 weeks.
I've pushed for that in the city so many times, for new mayors. That's amazing. Your policy requires developers to set aside units for affordable housing. How do you ensure the units meet the needs of local residents?
Sure. So our policy requires a 10% set aside. We're actually tracking a little closer to 20% of all of our units are in the affordable range. And so we try to keep track of what the average median income is in Westchester, but also in New Rochelle. And we incentivize our developers. So if they want want to have more bonuses, then they have to also do deeper cuts of affordability in the building. So it's leveraging different tools with data to help make sure that we're making sure everyone can live in New Rochelle. We've also been able to fund a down payment assistance program for residents, where we will give 19% of a down payment for a first-time home buyer. And then we partnered with a developer. We'll have 126 affordable condos opening right off of Main and North. So when we talk about affordability, we're not just talking about rentals. We're talking about closing generational wealth gap and using, again, our development resources to fund that.
If New York City wanted to adopt the new Rochelle model, where would they have to begin?
You know, as someone from Queens, I'll be the first to say New York City, it's a different model within itself.
Sure.
Each borough, parts of each borough are very different. What I would encourage is anyone interested in the city government to reach out to New Rochelle, and maybe we can help brainstorm, be thought partners. Maybe it's carving out certain parts of the city to test it and then see if you can scale up throughout the city. But I would definitely encourage investments in the environmental impact studies, kind of scaffolding, front loading some of the work. But New Rochelle stands ready to help serve and support our cousins, if you will, in the other city of the state.
Basically, to streamline sort of some of these processes to make the housing development not only more affordable, but faster and meeting the need in a much quicker timeline.
I think streamlining is right.
Okay, amazing. Well, Mayor, thank you so much. It's
Thank
been
you,
excellent.
Kenny.
Love to be here, and I'd love to see this happening in New York City soon.
Thank you so much. Take care.